record. Two, one. Keisha,
Yeah.
is it doctor?
No, not yet. You're
Not
projecting.
yet.
Not
Oh no,
yet.
I'm manifesting that. I have to
Look,
manifest it.
and I
So
shall receive.
let's say manifesting, introducing you as Dr. Keisha. All right, you know. But first of all, thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's so good to see you. So good to see that you're doing well with you and your family and
Yeah.
your thriving career. So I can't wait for the listeners to be able to hear everything that's going on. But more importantly, talk about your cultural upbringing and who you are and what you're doing, how it shaped you and who you are today. All right. So
Yes.
again, so storytelling comes natural to me because of my Haitian background. And Haiti storytelling has long been central to fostering communication and teaching. And that's why I decided to do this show, helping viewers and listeners understand how cultural people are thriving and how it shaped them to who they are today in their current entrepreneur and who they are and what they do. So I'd like you to introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do, and then we can just keep on moving.
All right. Well, thank you again for manifesting that doctor part. I'll take it and I will
Right.
receive it. Arms and heart and mind wide open and just got to get them pockets together.
That's
But
right.
please, Keshia Golding-Cooper, I am a lifelong educator, but I have taken my career to a pivot. I am now retired after 25 years and 5 months in the K to 12 in New Jersey's education system. I call myself a semipreneur. We'll talk about that too. So
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a semipreneur. I have my license as a New Jersey-based therapist.
That's
So
good.
I have clients from say adolescence to adulthood and married clients, single, all that good stuff. So that's one half of what I do as Keisha therapist. And then I have KGC Consulting, which is my consulting company. I work with nonprofit, profit organizations, schools, everyone, and really supporting the mental health and well-being of whomever, right? So I initially thought, I'm going to pivot from education and work with like educators, but I've worked with everyone from my first gig, HelloFresh, right, to townships. And I've been on this journey totally for about a year, but with my consulting, honestly, since January, and it is interesting.
And timely, of course, too. I mean, if we would have talked close about 4 to 5 years ago, in the middle of the pandemic, right, which was key for people that were going through a lot of different issues, was that kind of did that foster moving into the your business, or were you already there?
I was not there.
Okay.
Pandemic, I had landed my dream job. So
Okay.
my dream job, or so I thought, my dream job, not his dream job for me, but my dream job was to be a director of school counseling. So I was a director of guidance for a pretty large school district in northern New Jersey.
Mhm.
And 1920 was my first year. Loved it. Creating programs, supporting staff and students and families. And
2020.
it in 2020,
Okay. All right.
school year 1920 was my first year as a director. So did
Okay.
all that stuff, providing mental health support services for students and families. But it wasn't until 3 years after that
Mhm.
that I'm fully transparent about it now. I was what we call in Jersey non-renewed from my dream district.
Mhm.
And that was really God telling me, wake up.
Right.
That's not what I have planned for
Right.
you. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I started spinning the wheels for what else can I do? What am I really here to do?
Right.
And that's where becoming a therapist and KGC Consulting was born out of, the continued desire to support others and
Right.
also, hustle.
And look where you are today, just to be able to make the pivot. A lot of people, it's hard. I think it's a learned or trained experience to understand when to pivot and how to pivot. It's not an easy thing to do, but I mean, you were made in 96, you got that cultural background, making that pivot, the resilience of who you are and your culture and your background, that shouldn't be easy, but I'm so happy you were able to do that.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me a little bit about your upbringing and your cultural traditions and values that were most prominent in your household, because we all
So
have.
Listen, we all have them, regardless of what your cultural background is, whether you
Right.
recognize it or not. But I am a first generation, first person here in my entire family born here in the US. My family is from Jamaica,
Right.
right? So and when I talk about everybody,
Yeah.
everybody, mother, father, grandmother, my older brothers. However, it wasn't a thing to not be born here, to not be
Yeah.
born in America, rather, because I just grew up Jamaican, right?
Right.
So part is, resiliency and doing what you have to do so you
Yeah.
can do what you want to do,
Right.
right?
When you were born here, correct? Did they
Yeah.
send you back to understand? Because we were sent back um in an interesting way for about 2 to 3 years, hanging with our grandparents, and that's a whole
Yeah,
nother story. Was that your story?
absolutely. So my grandparents came to the US maybe late 60s,
Hmm.
early 70s-ish. Um, And then my mom came, was the first one that was the first picnic my grandparents sent for was my mom because she had children already. And then my mom and my dad trying to get established, we were sent back home to
Yeah,
the point where my earliest memories, because permanent
that's
memory
right.
gets
Yeah, I know.
4 or 5 years old. So
Hmm.
my earliest memories were me in Jamaica, which is why I thought I was born in Jamaica.
Hmm.
So I would go back there, was raised by,
I'm from here.
everybody, right?
Right.
It
Like,
was
honey,
definitely
no, you would not.
right,
Right.
right. And
Mhm.
then after that, while, my peers went off to summer camp or whatever, or they went down south to be with their family, I would say
Right.
I'm going down south too, just a little further south.
Yeah, a little bit of
90
a boat
miles from
ride, a
Cuba is
little
where
bit of a
I'll
boat
be.
ride over. Right.
90, yeah, 90 miles from Cuba is where I'll be,
Right.
right?
Right.
That's just how it was.
That's great. So are there any prominent traditions or values that because for most island people, like especially like, I can relate because I'm Haitian.
Mhm.
It was like my parents bought us a doctor kit, a dentist kit, an engineering kit. It's like this is what y'all gonna do. And then
Mhm.
if you got in trouble, you were on your knees or you stood in the cross and you got, or you're gonna eat at this time when dad comes home. We had so many
And
upbringing rules that we followed. How was it for you?
so similar. I mean, I have a lot of Haitian friends. I didn't get the matinette. I did know about that. I heard about, but discipline was
Right.
uh, things like you want something for cry for, right?
Mhm.
So it's very much speak when spoken to,
That's
right?
right.
You may be
Respect your
in the
elders.
room, you may be in the room, but you're not in the room.
Hmm.
And similar, like you couldn't sit down and eat dinner
Right.
or breakfast or any meal until you had face wash, hands wash,
Yeah.
everything was done. So
Yeah.
those are some of the things of respect was definitely heavy in it, right? Everyone is still Mr. and Miss. There was no like I didn't know people's first names.
Yeah. It
No, it
was
was a
Mr. and
thing.
Mrs. Yeah.
And in terms of like traditions, it was definitely like soup on the weekends, right?
Yes.
Saturday
Yes.
soup.
Sundays for us.
Yes. And I remember Saturday mornings were putting on Bob Marley or whoever, right? And you
Right.
clean
That's right.
Saturday morning. There was no watching cartoons first. You cleaned. And just that, the structure is what I
Yeah.
really took
But you
from.
know what? Growing up when that was happening, we was like, hey, you gotta wake up and do all this. But now as adults, that's my house. Like, I mean, like literally, I'll come in the room and I'll tell my wife and I'm like, she's not going anywhere until this is clean. But
Mhm.
what it shapes your mind is a structure as a young adult. So as a young adult, I mean, your house should be clean. You know what I mean? Like you should
Right.
have some type of structure because it helps you be able to move forward in your life, right? So
Yeah.
it wasn't bad.
No. And I mean, the other thing was work and
Yeah.
like you just everyone worked.
Yeah.
We're the first like true generation of college educated, right?
Yep.
But my mom worked, and that thing about Jamaicans having tree jobs, it's not just like a misnomer. Like
Oh.
if you only had two jobs, you were considered a
Oh
slacker.
no. Yeah, I found out my grandfather made shoes, belts. He had a store and
Mhm.
like he had multiple things and he still had like a job. But
Correct.
it wasn't like foreign to us, right? So even like today is, I got like 3 or 4 things that I do, you know. And so it's not
And it was definitely second nature, and not just here, but when I would go home,
right.
like my grandmother and my grandfather, many like before my grandparents even got married or together, my grandfather found this property like 3 acres and he cultivated it,
Yeah,
right? And
almost.
I remember sending the barrels down. I'm like, Grandma, where you send it? What are you doing? She
Right.
had a store front as part of one of the homes, one of the houses on the property, and that
Yeah.
was the thing. And she had somebody running it down there. So not
Yep.
only were my grandparents early time entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
but then she had the factory job here or wherever she had to work. And, it was that what was really instilled was that like be respectful, work hard,
Right.
nothing to yourself but your name.
And that's why it's not surprising. When you look at it, you like reflect. It's not surprising that you pivoted to be able to do your own business. Like
Right.
no surprise at all. Any common misunderstandings or misconceptions people have about your culture and how do you address them? I.e., when I used to come from school, they used to yell across the street in our uniforms, Haitian creation, go back to your nation, Haitian booty scratcher. All
Mhm.
Haitians, oh, you don't look Haitian. What does a Haitian look like? What does Jamaican look like?
So growing up, I grew up in West Orange in Jersey, right? So
Right.
it was a predominantly white town. We were probably the first Jamaicans that these people ever saw,
Right.
honestly, right? So some of the early things was like, go back and climb the tree and stuff like that. Like it was always centered around, well, unfortunately that time, complexion and skin and all the other
Yeah.
stuff.
Hmm.
But definitely that we were uneducated. Like my classmates were surprised that my brothers and I were as educated
Right.
and didn't
Spoke
sound
like English. Yeah.
Mhm. And the other thing was growing up, we didn't sound Jamaican,
So crazy.
right? Because now they call code switch, and back then it was like survival
Right.
because it was being taunted
Right.
the accent. And here's the other thing: when my mom enrolled my brothers in the school, they were sent to be evaluated for ESL, English as a
Oh my
second language. That
dude,
would
I used to go to a little trailer and
listen.
the lady would come pick me up. Say when she would flag me down the hallway, I was like, "Oh, dude, I got to go out here." And then they thought I was slow, but I was out there for this weird phonics reading thing
Yeah.
where they were just like, "Oh, you don't speak English correctly," and I was like, "What does that even mean?"
Hmm. And see, my mom, being the snazzy person she is,
Right.
said, wait, ESL, English
Yeah.
as a second language,
Right.
we speak the Queen's English. You're not
Exactly.
speaking. So
So
it was
happy
like
my mom did that.
that was probably the biggest misnomer growing up was
Yeah.
that Jamaicans, we didn't speak English, but
Right.
it's patois, which is a broken dialect, broken
Right.
down to whatever the original language is. So we just
Never
speak
fails.
English.
Right. Never fails. I'm gonna switch back over because you mentioned something about soup on Saturdays, right? And food. Were there anything where when I was talking to my cousin, she mentioned this? Like, I remember for me, and I talk about this all the time, like we ate different kind of breakfast food. We ate
Yes.
different kind of dinner. So when I started going to Catholic school and they had like pancake day, I thought I didn't know what pancakes were. So, I was eating sausage, spaghetti, like this kind of breakfast thing. Like it was all we ate different kind of breakfast. Mal moulin, which is like cornmeal and avocados. So I'm like just eating this dry pancake. And then the kids are like, yo, he don't put no syrup on his pancakes. My cousin was like, she was over at somebody's house. They were frying chicken. They was like, hold up, you guys don't bake the chicken?
So when you talk about food,
Yeah.
to this day, I don't really fry chicken. I really don't like fried chicken.
That's not what we do. I mean,
No, no. So, I mean, and the one time my mom tried to fry chicken, it looked good on the outside. You
yeah.
open it up, it was like raw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of like food, I remember growing up getting teased for bringing what we call like bulla beef, corned
Yeah.
beef,
Hmm.
between two thick slices of hard dough bread.
Right.
That was lunch.
Yeah.
So I would say like things like of that nature with in terms of like food in
Right.
particular, it was our breakfast was cornmeal porridge, ackee
That's
and
right.
saltfish, like
Totally
food
different. Yeah.
sustenance, what we
But
had
when
for
our
breakfast.
friends came over and tasted mom's food, next level. Because I remember we used to have culture day, and I was like, didn't want my mom to bring the rice and beans and the plantains, and I didn't want her to bring when she brought it, it was destroyed, right? all the way up to college. Like anytime moms had food, it was destroyed.
And see, wait, you said friends over? We didn't have friends
Yeah,
over.
we
You
did.
could be outside.
Yeah,
And first of all, you really didn't have friends from
right,
school or anything like that. I mean, I remember like one or two kids from across the street. And again, growing up in a predominantly white town, it was like the Irish next door across the street. There was an Italian and there was one black family.
right.
And the black family and us, we got along very well. And my Italian friend across the street, the Spinellis, were introduced us to pasta, right?
Okay.
And but the black family, when I saw grits, I didn't know what it was.
Not great.
I thought it was cornmeal porridge or
Right,
hominy
right.
porridge.
Okay, it's the
So
same, but not right.
I'm putting sugar. I'm trying to
Right.
sweeten it up. I need some condensed milk. They're like,
Yeah.
no.
No,
I
no,
was
no, no,
like,
no, no, no. Wrong, wrong, wrong thing. That's not what you do to grits.
what? I still don't really do grits.
Yeah. I don't know if you, well, my cousin was talking. It was crazy. She said her friends, they were like frying fish, but when she had her fish, they came over. They was like, hold up, you're eating the whole fish and the head? And she was like, yeah, that's where all the nutrients are. That's what we do. You're eating a full fish.
Correct. And you may be grinding the bones too in your teeth.
Exactly. Hey, but that was
Because
like foreign to a lot of our friends, our American friends, if I say the
I
least.
mean, because that part of that is we grew up from that cultural perspective where nothing is wasted.
Right.
So
That
you
part. You cook everything.
and guess what? And you
Yeah.
eat it until if it's in the fridge long enough for mold to grow. And if there's mold, you just kind of move it off and put it, you could throw away the mold, but you just keep eating.
Exactly. How did your parents scold you? I know for us,
Huh.
oh my God. And sadly, I did it to my son. It was this thing, my dad, when he came home from work, but she would, whatever you did, and I was like the senator of getting beatings. She'd be like, like you sit on your knees, face the wall, like, oh, you just face the wall. Our kitchen, the way that it was, like he would come in and then there was a northern door this way. So he would come in, you'll be on your knees or you'll be like against the wall. And then she'll be explaining to him what I would do. You'll hear him. Then they would get like 30 minutes into his foodie. And then when you heard the clinking of the forks and knives, you're like, oh, shoot. Then you hear the belt coming out. And I just remember sitting there looking left, right, left, right, left, right. And then the belt would come, of course, from the opposite end and like whip you across your back. And
Mhm.
sadly, I did that to my son. Yeah, yeah.
So
I was teaching him values. He was around 10, between 10 and 12. And nowadays he talks about, I'm bringing him on the show too, by the way. So I want to hear his perspective of growing up under first generation Haitian that was Haitian American.
yeah, so
You beat your
discipline,
kids and did you get beat?
I I got a little bit, but I was the baby girl.
Was your baby girl? You're not getting
Now, so
beats.
when I did though, it
Yeah,
was, ooh, sorry, something's dropping. When I
yeah,
did though, it was go out and get the switch.
yeah. Of course.
So the thing is like, wait a minute, I'm in trouble. I'm already
Right.
scared. I'm in
Let me go
trouble.
get the stick for you to beat me with.
And then if you come back with one that's dry,
Yeah.
they go and get the greener one.
Yo, my folks ordered something. We heard them talking about ordering this thing that had like three strands. So we
That's
thought
the
that's something
martinet.
that you beat
Is that the
donkeys with.
martinet?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was three strands on it. Why it came and it was wrapped up. We were feeling it. We was like, oh shoot, son, when we get a beating, we done. This is the ultimate beating machine that arrived. Yo, the first time my mom swung it, it broke. So we were celebrating. Whoa! So my mom, while she was swinging it, it broke. Was like she ended up laughing. The beating stopped because it broke, and that was the
Yeah.
last we ever saw of that machine that arrived from Haiti.
So I will say either the switch.
Yeah,
Now, I will say I witnessed
yeah.
the middle boy
Witness
Donovan
what?
wanted,
Did you
but
witnessed?
I witnessed, right? The middle boy. So we had
Baby girl, you just witness
the
everything.
three of us was it was Mark Donovan. What more Jamaican name is Donovan, right?
Right, right,
Donovan.
right, right. No,
So it's
my
Mark
full name is Don Fred.
Donovan.
Don Fred. It's Don Fred. Yeah, it's very Haitian. So I can
So
relate to Donovan.
actually, I think it's technically Danovan, but nobody
Oh
called
yeah.
him Dan.
Right,
It's so
right.
it's Donovan. So I remember my mom, I don't know who, why, where thought it was okay for him to get like a bow and arrow set for probably a birthday or something. And then of course, who was the target?
Oh God.
I swear that's where I learned. I learned to run track and get
Yeah.
my start running from my brothers. So Donovan had a bow and arrow. Next thing you
Right.
know, that bow and arrow, after he was trying to get his sister, that bow and arrow turned to him. And I swear my mom caught him.
God. The way that we chose the weird games we played, we had a rock fight with the Glasgows. They were from Guyana or Trinidad, Guyana, and we were throwing rocks. So we kept telling my girl cousins that were over the house, don't walk past the rock fight. Stupid great kids just, and of course a rock hit one of my cousins. She goes running. Both
Of course.
families, the Guyanese and
Mhm.
the Haitians, were on the porch. It caused a divide between, because when she went running, they was like, your kids hit our kids with a rock. And then the parents started, the family got into argument against it. And then we ain't speak to them for years because of our stupid rock fight. When we became adults and we saw them, we was like, yo, bro, why our families stopped speaking? You end up moving because we had a stupid rock fight and our cousin caused it.
Who wasn't even there all the time.
He wasn't even there all the time.
You talk about interesting like games, whatever, and just having to be creative.
Right.
We loved when it rained because if it was a heavy rain in the spring and summer, we would we had like I guess a little incline. We
Mhm.
would raise twigs,
You raise what?
twigs in the stream of the rainfall
Kids
as
have
the rain was
no
going to the gutter.
idea of creativity
And
nowadays.
when I tell you, Don, when I tell you, like, and then you had to
Fun.
match because so your twig couldn't be longer than their twig, and then
Yeah.
you try to find the twig that had the little leaf on the end,
Yeah.
and we thought this arrow, bro, we raced twigs.
The one time, go ahead.
And
No,
we
go
called
ahead.
it the
Finish.
river.
The river. The one time we tried to switch and do like an American game, it ended up so bad.
Yeah.
So we knew about Lance Armstrong. So I had a 10 speed. My mom was like, yo, you need to fix the brake. You need to fix the brake. Fix the brake. Fix the brake. I was like, I get to it. I get to it. So the lights came on. Remember the lights coming on, right? The lights came on. She was like, oh, no, no,
And
no.
out.
Everybody get in. So I was like, hold on. I got to break the record. So I'm coming down the street doing like, I don't know how fast. All I remember was click, 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 and then the brake flipped into the front spoke. That was our thing, the race. Who could break the time? I went over. All I
Did
remember
it.
was going over, woke up, the ambulance was there. All my friends were surrounding my mom, just barely brawn, screaming. They thought he was like, he's dead, he's dead.
Yeah.
What president was there? What year was it? And I'm sitting there like, yo, all she said was to get in the house. Why did we create these games? Our creativity was dope back in the day.
Hands
By
down.
that was, yeah, hands down, it was.
Hands down, hands down. I mean, we did things like so definitely when it rained in the river and doing that stuff, and then when
Yo, I'm
it's
still crying about the rain in the river, twigs.
and we would it was a river. You can't tell me no different. It was
I
a river,
can't.
but
Yeah.
mind you, the stream was probably like this big because it was on the curb.
Yeah,
It was like right off
yeah.
between the
My
curb and the
twig, my twig.
I took. And I remember my brother Mark. He would always win. I swear he has something with
That's
them
so
twigs.
wild. That's
I mean,
so
we did
wild.
stuff like that. Saturday mornings after you finish watching cartoon.
Yeah,
Going outside reenacting the
all
cartoon
day. That's right.
until Saturday midday Kung Fu theater.
Yeah.
You come back in, watch the Kung Fu, then you go back out,
Oh, kung
and then
fu.
you do the master
Yeah,
dragon
yeah.
shades of this and
Oh,
this
yeah.
and that.
We mimicked World Wrestling Federation. We had belts. We made them with like these cardboard things, and we
Like,
would fight. We created a ring in the basement. We had fights in the basement. And I remember I lost a TV champion because I bust my little brother in the head. And then they was like, you're disqualified. And they handed him the belt. And the way my mom used to stop so you can come eat, she would be calling you, calling you, calling you, calling you. You wouldn't come up. All of a sudden, a bucket of water would just splash down on everybody. Growing up.
you think about all that stuff back then,
Yeah.
tying to what we're doing now,
Right.
like just the fact
Minor.
that we entertained ourselves
Yeah.
for the most part. Well, I stayed out of trouble. I tried because I was scared of my parents.
Oh, no,
So
I
I
stayed
tried to
in
stay out
trouble.
of trouble,
I stayed in trouble.
right? I mean, it did kind of lead to a little people pleasing mentality. That's a whole nother thing, right?
Right. Right.
Now, as an adult, like MacGyver's got nothing on me. Like
Not at all.
you need something figured out. You need me
Not
to.
Gen X. Nothing. Nothing. So listen, with all of this, like all I mean, we've had a short time, and I know it could be like hours that we can talk about our upbringing. How has your background influenced you and your perspective on career choices and relationships, like where you are today? And it's so instrumental because who and how our parents shaped us has shaped us as who we are.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Who?
So,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
so I will say that Career choice, this wasn't my first career choice because
Yeah.
growing up, I heard similar to what you said, your parents brought you this kid, that kid.
Right.
I heard you could be a doctor, a lawyer, accountant,
That's
like a
right.
business person,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So all through high school, I took all these accounting courses, accounting one and two. My mom at the time had a beauty parlor in the States, and I was her business person. I would
Hmm.
be Dudley's person. So the goal was for me to go to Seton Hall and become a business major, eventually become a CPA, certified public accountant, do all this stuff. I went to Seton Hall. I enrolled in this one business class, first semester freshman year. So me and business don't get along because I don't see eye to eye. When I
Right. Yeah.
failed course first semester freshman year, that was probably my first time pivoting.
Right.
First time I had to figure out what one of my mantras that I then utilized when I had coached
Right.
track forever
Right.
today. I utilize it's that juxtaposition between what you like and what you're good at. And
And that's
sometimes
when you
they don't
figured out
match.
your purpose too. Yeah.
So it wound up being I thought I liked this business stuff, but honestly,
Hmm.
no shade at myself. I really wasn't good at the accounting
That's
part.
right.
And I thought he was up there speaking a whole nother language.
You're good about what you do now.
There it
Getting
is.
that purpose is just so important. So
So
important. So I'm happy you found your
and
calling.
then I led to this, right?
Yeah.
Helping people. Because if you think about it, what I did with my mom's shop was help her. I
Yeah.
always was always in the helping. And
Yeah.
now
What do
here
you,
we
do your parents think? What do they think? You're a doctor now? What do they do? What do they call you? Because like I go through this whole thing with them for a while. They were like, "Oh, he's just a photographer. He's a photographer." So then my mom got mad and was like, "Can you put all your stuff together in one book?" And I gave her all these pictures with all these events, political, sports,
Mhm.
NFL, Super Bowl. And then she gets to the event, and throws it on the table, is like, "Yeah." Then he's like, "Oh, he's a journalist." So now I'm a journalist.
So early on, as an educator, regardless if I was a teacher, counselor, administrator, they just knew she's an educator. She had teacher, she had teacher,
Right.
she looked like
Right.
Keisha, she teacher. And then I became an assistant principal. She had principal. No,
Oh
okay.
God, all these
So
titles.
the education part was okay.
Yeah.
Now as a therapist and an entrepreneur, yeah, yeah, head doctor.
Yeah. Yo, you
Yeah,
doctor yet?
yeah,
Yet?
head yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, talk to people. Yeah, people are tired in business.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I
She's at
help
the
people.
she's at the hospital. That's what she is. She's at the hospital.
And I'm like, first of all, I'm not a doctor yet. I'm a
Right.
therapist.
Yeah.
So they kind of understand it, but what really led to this full circle moment is my family has a history of mental health disorders,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it wound up not being something too foreign to me
Yeah.
because I had seen it and
You could
but
be able
thought
to
it was
relate.
normal,
Yeah. To
which
relate.
it is. It
Yeah.
is. But now I'm like,
Yeah.
huh.
I'm so happy you've been able to, God, it's like when you say full circle, to be able to come in this moment, to be able to understand your purpose and where you are, you're in a good place. So
Hmm.
blessings upon your career. I got a couple of more questions, these
Go
quick
ahead.
questions. I
Oh
don't know
boy,
if
here we
you're
go.
ready. I don't know if you're ready.
Well, come, whoa,
Accurate.
whoa, whoa.
Huh?
96. And you
Okay.
mentioned
No, no,
94,
you're ready. You're
but I don't
ready.
know if they know. I call Delsing Day Sorority Incorporated, Del
All right,
Data
let's
Check
go.
Spring
Let's
96.
go.
Let's go, because I'm an ace.
Let's go. Ackee fish and saltfish or curry goat?
I can't sawfish.
Okay, you sure? Dance hall or reggae?
Reggae.
Really?
Yes.
Portmore or Kingston nightlife?
Kingston, because my closer
Oh,
to Kingston.
a river or a beach?
Beach.
All right.
Minuano, tiki tiki from the river.
Blue Mountain coffee or Sorrel?
Sorrow, because I can
Oh,
put rum in.
come on, come on.
Sorrow.
All right. Dance hall queen or reggae roots vibes?
Dancehall queen, although I like the reggae. I need the
Last one.
dancehall queen.
Rice and peas or plain, I'm like about to curse, or plain rice. Why did I even ask you that?
Rice and peas, and I want my peas cooked in coconut milk.
Thank you. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Keisha,
Yes.
thank you so much for coming on Istwa. Thank you for sharing your vision, your story, your background. And for all Jamaican comrades that are out there, she represents
Wagwan.
today. She represents
Wagwan.
today, right? Right? Right?
Yes.
I'm not, I can't, I'm Haitian, so I don't even want to say that. Yeah. I'll get in trouble. My wife would be like, dude, please don't say anything bad that you don't know about. Like, she was like, don't do that. Just not even funny. Thank you
Mm,
for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your vision.
thank you so
Lady,
much.
distinguished lady of Delta Sigma Theta, also Spring 96 that we know about. We appreciate you. Good luck to you, your
Thank
career, and
you.
God bless to you and your family.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.